No, you will move. I can't mute you because then you gonna hear it. And if you just something you just off mute, say Amber. That's about it. Okay? All right, I'm put you up and put you on mute. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is our 2-minute warning. We'll get started momentarily, so if we can get settled in so we can start on time. That's the only thing they allow me to control, so hopefully we get started on time here. All right. Well, we will call this October Planning Commission meeting to order at exactly 3 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. If the staff is ready, I ask them to read the opening statement.
All right, good afternoon. The Augusta, Georgia Planning Commission is a recommending body. The final decision on all zoning matters coming before it will be held by the Augusta Commission on Tuesday, October the 21st, 2025 at 2 p.m. in the Augusta Commission chambers at the Municipal Building. The Planning Commission makes the final decisions on all variances, including subdivision regulations. A handout describing the zoning procedures by which these cases are decided is available upon request. These procedures also require that any applicant for a rezoning action or any opponent to an application for a rezoning action who has made contributions aggregating $250 or more to a local government official within 2 years of the rezoning application to file a disclosure report with the governing authority. The disclosure report must be filed within 10 calendar days of filing the application and at least 10 calendar days prior to today's hearing. A minimum of 10 minutes shall be afforded for the presentation of data, evidence, and opinions on each side of a rezoning petition or a special exception. If more than 10 minutes is afforded to one side, then an equal amount of time shall be afforded to the other side. The Commission encourages participation in this hearing, and there is no restrictions on who may address the Commission within the allotted time. But the Commission asks that the public comments be brief, on subject, and non-repetitive, and directed to the Commission, not to any individual or group.
Thank you. Let's take our agenda as presented, top to bottom. All right. While we are preparing for the presentation of the first case, just letting the audience know that we do have one of our commissioners join us via phone.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to mention that those two cases that were postponed?
I'll defer to staff if it's appropriate to read the postponements into the record.
I can do it.
Yes, Mr. Kibner, if you would read those postponements into the record.
Under the agenda, item number 5, Z-25-35, a petition by Connect Development LLC on behalf of NRP Residential 1 LLC. They are requesting a postponement to the November meeting. And then item number 10, SV 25-03, a petition by Jennifer Heath on behalf of Elaine Cook is requesting a subdivision variance, is also requesting postponement until the November meeting.
Move to approve without prejudice, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same right. All right, those items have been postponed into the November meeting. So if you are here for those particular petitions, you are welcome to exit now. However, you are invited to stay. All right, let's go with item number 1.
Item number 1 is Z-25-29, a petition by Purpose Holdings LLC on behalf of Good News Church, Inc., requesting a rezoning from Zone R1, one-family residential, and R1A, one-family residential, to Zone RE, one-family residential, to develop a single-family residential subdivision affecting approximately 4.08 acres, located at 400 Warren Road, tax map number 017-0-0276-00-0. This was referred back from the Augusta Commission at their, would have been their August meeting. As stated, the applicant is seeking to rezone the eastern portion of 4.08 acres of a larger property consisting of 7.47 acres from one family, from R1 and R1A, one family residential, to R1E, to develop a residential subdivision consisting of 30 detached 2- and 3-bedroom cottages consisting of 800 to 900 square feet with proposed green space and common area. The property is situated between Warren Road, the Clay Hill Road, and Warren Bridge Road, with Interstate I-20 being adjacent to the south. The property was previously approved special exception for a telecommunications tower. The proposed subdivision will gain access off of Warren Road. The proposed residential subdivision would consist of 30 detached 2- and 3-bedroom cottage-style homes on approximately 1,980 square feet fee simple title lots. The 2- and 3-bedroom cottages would range in size from 800 to 900 square feet, meeting the minimum square footage requirement for single-family dwellings. The subdivision proposes to have green space and common areas of approximately 25% to include a dog park. Public potable water and sanitary sewer are available to the property. The Georgia Department of Transportation Functional Classification Map dated 2017 classifies Warren Road as a local road. There is no public transit available within half a mile of the property. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. And according to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located on the property. The property across Warren Road at the intersection of Warren Road, Clay Hill Road, and Crane Ferry Road is zoned B1 neighborhood business. The remaining properties across Warren Road are zoned R1, one-family residential. Properties to the east and west are zoned R1A, one-family residential, and Interstate I-20 is directly to the south of the property. The proposed change in zoning to R1E with single-family detached dwellings would be consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan. And at the time of the report, there's been several community meetings and inquiries with regards to the application. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? Okay, sir, if you could come up, give us your name, address, and any new details on your petition.
Nick Teskey with Purpose Holdings, 460 Timberwolf Trail, Augusta, Georgia, 30907. We had another meeting with the Montclair Homeowners Association, or opened it up to them. I think some of the concerns, they didn't know much about how the property was going to be used, what role the church had, and those kinds of things. I did get some more detailed plans versus the sketches we provided last time. Those have been attached for your reference. Outside of that, really nothing has changed. We're still proposing the development with these houses, 2 and 3 bedroom.
All right, thank you, Mr. Teskey. Commissioners, do you have questions of the petitioner? All right, seeing none. Anybody in the audience that objects to this petition? All right, ma'am, would you like to come up and express your objection? All right, ma'am, you have a balance of 10 minutes, and if you can make your comments directly to the Planning Commission.
Yes, I will. I will do so. My name is, I go by nickname Kathy Kennedy, but it's Kathleen R. Kennedy legally. I am here just representing myself as a property owner on Crane Ferry Road, located in Montclair. There are several things that...
And your address, ma'am, I'm sorry.
3325 Crane Ferry Road.
Thank you.
There are several items that I just want to address or go through in terms of things I've heard at our board meetings, homeowners who have investigated this whole issue, as well as what I personally have become aware of. But the primary concern was about these remaining individual lots, for one thing, that they would not change in terms of being somehow joined together, become condos, or in some way rental property has been the biggest concern that I feel would have possibly affect my property. The second thing is the design itself, which is only 800 to 900 square feet. The cost originally was to be $250,000 per each one of these units. I understand that may be dropping to $200,000 or more, but still that is a significant cost. If left at $250,000, the square footage cost would be $277 per square foot. There was a house that the developer has obtained, purchased, and renovated that's near the Warren Road Bridge area to this development that we're talking about. And it was like to see, it could be a comp, if it could be sold. And to this point, it has not been sold. My understanding, it was about the 250 range, 250,000. I don't have the exact on that. And then the project developer, Mr. Teskey, another concern is that people have researched him and they can find no history of developing any kind of a property similar. They can't find any information basically on him, and they're concerned that somebody, given these other issues, is attempting to do something they don't have experience with really carrying out. And then the last concern regarding the comps, the real estate comps, in order to have anyone obtain a loan to buy one of these, hopefully, individual properties, is really not available. No one can see within the neighborhood that I am aware of, myself included, that you could find comps. These are so unusual in terms of square footage and the cost per square foot that somebody who had the money to take out a loan or obtain a loan would probably not buy one of these properties. They would attempt for something else because there's hardly any heat and air space available. So all the rooms, everything is tiny. size. So then the concern becomes Section 8. If by chance this goes forward, properties are developed even sequentially, like this little part of it and then that little, released as they go on, if the money is available to actually do this project, then, and no one can obtain a loan to actually purchase one, then it can go through another process, which is Section 8, which allows people at the poverty level to purchase properties they otherwise could not afford. It also is used for rental or purchase. So the big, again, getting summarized, my concern is that these will become rental properties, and they will affect the property values in the communities nearby, which includes Montclair, which is a well-established, caring community who reaches out to one another and wants to help others of all levels, but we need to be sure that the things that are built around us or introduced near our neighborhood will be conducive to the values and the concerns of our neighborhood. If anybody has a question, I'll attempt to answer, but.
Thank you for your comments. Commissioners, do you have any questions at all? Okay, seeing anybody in the audience support this particular project? Show of hands, count those. Would anybody like to come up and express your support? Okay. So you heard some of the concerns. You have opportunity to respond if you would like.
Yeah, a lot of the questions at our meeting were related to costs. Biggest thing right now, it's hard to dial those in. These are high uncovered numbers based on a lot of site work that we would have to do. One of the things with this particular site is parking. This is currently going where the parking for the church is located. So we would have to relocate the parking to the other side of the church, which obviously is some of the expense that we'd be dealing with. Also, from one of our earlier meetings with the Montclair Association, with some of the representatives from there, one of those concerns was indeed detached, us wanting to try to do detached housing. And so in this particular application, we specifically requested that it be detached single-family homes only. And so that is what we're going to build those, or we won't build them at all, because it's written in the application that way.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, let's move to staff recommendations.
Good afternoon. With the need to provide a variety of single-family detached homes, especially starter homes, the Planning and Development staff recommends approval of the rezoning request to R1E, one-family resident, with the following conditions. The development must substantially conform to the concept plan for a single-family detached home submitted with this rezoning application. Provide sidewalks along both sides of the internal streets within the proposed subdivision. No dwelling shall be located within a 150-foot radius of the telecommunications tower. Approval of this rezoning request does not constitute approval of the conceptual subdivision plan submitted with the rezoning application. The proposed development shall obtain final plats approval in compliance with the land subdivision regulation of Augusta, Georgia, prior to construction commencing on this property. The development of this property shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia, as amended at the time of development. This concludes staff recommendation.
All right, thank you, sir. Do you accept those staff recommendations?
Sure.
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve with staff recommendations.
Properly moved and seconded to approve this particular item. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same right. All right, this item is passed. Thank you, sir. And it'll be moved to the full commission. What date is that, Amber? October 21st. All right, let's move to the second item.
All right. SC-25-11, petition by Dorinda Ampanash, requesting a special exception per section 26-1H of the comprehensive zoning ordinance to establish a family personal care home with 6 clients affecting property containing approximately 0.31 acres located at 3602 Abbey Road, Zone R1A, one family residential. Staff present.
Amanda Cruz, Planner 1. This special exception pertains to a 0.31 acre property located in the Barton Chapel Hill subdivision and is zoned R1A1 family residential. The property features a one-story, 2008 square foot residence that was constructed in 1972. The applicant is seeking approval of a special exception to establish a family personal care home with up to 6 clients on the property. On Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, the Planning Commission voted to postpone the application to allow for the applicant to meet with the Barton Chapel Hill subdivision residents. There was a meeting that took place with their neighborhood association, and staff was present for that meeting. The property is situated in the South Augusta Character Area. The comprehensive plan's vision for the South Augusta Character Area includes the continuation of mixed housing types at low to medium density to preserve the suburban-style single-family residential character that is predominant in the area. Recommended development patterns for this character area include maintaining low-density single-family residential development in areas where it is already the predominant land use, infill residential development at densities compatible with the surrounding areas, and to place additional commercial development at major intersections. As stated, the applicant proposes to establish a family personal care home providing care for up to 6 residents. The residence contains 5 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms, along with a living room, kitchen and dining room combo, laundry room, visiting area, and an office. No additions have been proposed at this time. The home will be operated by at least 1 staff member per shift, which will care for a maximum of those 6 clients. There are no other established family personal care homes within 1,200 or 1,200 feet of the subject property. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation State Functional Classification Map of 2017, Abbey Road is classified as a local road and Barton Chapel Road is classified as a minor arterial route. The nearest bus stop is located on Barton Chapel Road and is approximately 165 feet from the subject property. Public water is present in the area, but public sewer is not. According to the FEMA Flood Insurance Rate Maps firm, the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. According to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located in the property. The proposal is compatible with the surrounding land uses and is consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan. And at the time of completion of the report, staff have received 1 individual in opposition, which is in the letter in the packet, as well as just from the meeting that staff attended, there was many individuals in opposition regarding this petition. And that concludes staff presentation.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? But the petitioner. Okay, ma'am, if you would come forward, give us your name, your address, and any new details on your project. Yes, sure.
Hello, y'all. My name is Dorinda Enena Ponsa. I believe the last time we were here, we talked about us establishing a personal care home.
Excuse me, what's your address?
3602 Abbey Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30906. So the last time we were here, like she said, we were talking about establishing a personal care home at that address. We did meet with the community, just to elaborate on what we're doing, our intent. And I also have Tony here. She's one of the agency representatives that will help us take care of the patients within our facility. So I'd like to introduce her, and if she has anything to elaborate on the business, she can also let you guys know.
All right, thank you. If you could give us your name and address.
My name is Tony Seals, and I live at 4206 Applin, Georgia, Old Lincolnton Road. And I am a ALS provider for the state of Georgia. In order for the personal care homes to be licensed, they have to have, for 2 to 6 beds, they have to go with an agency like myself. Anything over 7 beds, they would become their own provider agency.
Okay. Is that the end of your comments?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have questions of the petitioner? All right, seeing none, is there anybody in the audience that opposes this particular project? Let me get a count. Do you have a spokesperson or is it gonna be multiple individuals speaking? Okay, well, if you can line up over here at the podium, you all have a balance of 10 minutes collectively. And if you will make your comments brief, considering that you have multiple speakers, and if you can make them directly to the Planning Commission. And if you give us your name and your address as well.
My name is Charles Carson, 2426 Friar Lane, Barnchapel Hills. I'm the neighborhood president.
You want me to start now?
Yes.
Good afternoon, I'm Lionel Wimlett, 2777 Willis Furman Road, Hepzibah, Georgia. Back in, you want me to start? Okay. Back in 2008, the Planning and Zoning implemented an ordinance to protect neighborhoods from such action of putting care homes in neighborhoods. My belief is that residents of Richmond County should have some say-so of what goes into that neighborhood that is in contrary to what they actually purchased their neighborhood or their homes to be, and that is part of a residential community. Now, I understand that supposedly what is happening is these are residents, but these are peoples of need. Now, I'm not saying peoples of need doesn't have a need, they do. And it should be very qualitative need because they are dependent on others for their livelihood and their life. But according to your own ordinance, you should be supporting this community and denying this petition.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wimbley.
Eric Gaines, 1445 Railroad Street. I just want to just come up here and just reiterate some of the things I've already said previously before. I think there was one particular committee member that actually said that you all your hands were tied, so to speak, is what it was said, because of your fear of litigation. But I also want to remind you that the community can also impart in litigation as well. So I need you to understand that this is a community of members that have been living here for 50 plus years. And somebody can come in here and it's just a small amount of time frame and buy a piece of property and put this type of operation in there. And the community has already vehemently come against this. I need to understand why it is that the committee, and also I'm going to speak to the commissioners as well, why you would go in opposition of the community. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Gaines.
Good afternoon. Octavia Collins, 2711 Cardigan Court, Hepzibah, Georgia, President of the Richmond County Neighborhood Association Alliance. I just want to say that residential and commercial is different. I understand people need personal care homes. They need somebody to help look after their families. But to me, it seems more like a business than a residential piece of property. So from my standpoint, if this is a business, then it needs to be in a different area. Then you have to consider what you want in your neighborhood. It's no disrespect to the individuals that's trying to do this task. However, there's a time and there's a place. And this particular subdivision, in my opinion, is not the place. But we do empathize with the fact that people need a place for their families when they're unable to take care of them themselves. So please take that into consideration, as well as the October 2008, October 21st, I believe it was, 2008 comprehensive plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Is there any additional comments from the opposition? All right, thank you so very much. We'll bring that portion to a close. Anybody in the audience support this petition? Would any one of you all like to come forward and express your support? Okay. Yes. Okay, you guys are good back there. You just wanted your support to be noted. Okay. All right. Yes. So you've heard the concerns. You are more than welcome to respond.
I know that she says it's a business, and when you become 7 or more, that's when it falls under a business. The 2 to 6, the purpose of that is no one wants to end up in a nursing home. No one wants to end up in a facility. So the purpose of it is to give it still a home-like environment. It still runs like home. Everybody comes to the dinner table. Everybody enjoys time in the common area, which is a living room set up just like yours, where everybody comes and mingles and watches TV. The office section is for crafting, Bible studies, anything like that. And then they have their own individual room for their time. I know one of the concerns was the traffic. Well, 90% of these people end up in these homes with no one. And so visitors are not very frequent for them other than the medical aspect of it. There's a transportation that will come in to take them to day centers, but visitors, it's usually myself and my staff or their case management team that comes. We come once a month, and case management comes every 3 months. And other than that, it's the owner and her husband that are with them, and they become their family. So that's the difference between a business. This is still a home.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Commissioners, do you have any final comments or questions? All right, seeing none, let's move to staff recommendations.
The Planning and Development staff recommends approval of the special exception to establish a family personal care home with the following conditions. The home shall be limited to no more than 6 residents with full supervision. Any live-in staff will be counted towards the maximum occupancy of the home. Successful completion of a code enforcement inspection is required before issuance of the business license. The applicant must receive a City of Augusta business license and continue to maintain a license with the State of Georgia proof of compliance with the minimum requirement of Chapter 292-5-18 of the OCGA must be provided, and the applicant must provide an annual inspection report. The home shall be staffed and maintained in compliance with all state Department of Community Health regulations for a family personal care home. No signage is permitted on the property. This concludes staff recommendation.
Ma'am, do you accept those staff recommendations?
I do.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll recommend approval with staff recommendation.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve this agenda item. All in favor of the approval?
Aye.
Oppose?
No.
Yep. No,
All right. Give the staff a second to tally. All right, this agenda item has been approved with staff recommendations.
Thank you.
All right, let's move forward with the next item.
All right. Z-25-33, a petition by Gail C. Crawford on behalf of Lawrence C. Crawford requesting a rezoning from zoning B2, general business, to zoning R1A, one family residence for existing residents affecting property containing approximately 0.5 acres located at 2721 at Peach Orchard Road. Staff will present.
Good afternoon, Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator. It's so good to see you guys. It's been a minute. I am presenting today the Z2533, and the applicant is seeking to rezone a 0.5 acre parcel from B2 to R1A with the intention of selling the home to their long-term tenant of 20-plus years, and this is situated at the corner of Peach Orchard and Richards Road. The property contains a house that was built in 1945, and it's approximately 2,498 square feet in size. According to the Comprehensive Plan 2023, the property is located in the South Augusta character area. The vision for the South Augusta character area includes the continued mix of housing types at low to medium density to preserve the suburban style, single-family residential character that is predominant in this area. Recommended development patterns for this character area include maintaining low-density, single-family residential development in areas where it is already the predominant land use, infill residential development at densities compatible with the surrounding area, and to place additional commercial development at major intersections. The findings for this request, there is no recent zoning history for the property. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. According to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located on the property. The nearest public transit stop is located approximately 676 feet away at the intersection of Peach Orchard and Lumpkin Road. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation State Functional Classification Map of 2017, Peach Orchard Road is classified as a principal arterial route, and Richard Road is classified as a local road. Adjacent zoning districts to the north, east, and south are majority B2, directly along Peach Orchard Road, and then spreads to R1A. Properties to the west are mostly R1A. The proposed change in zoning to R1A would be consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan. And at the time of completion of this report, staff has not received any inquiries regarding this petition. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? So if you come forward, give us your name, address, and any new details on your project.
Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Crawford. My address is 3112 Natalie Circle, Augusta, Georgia, 30909. I'm here on behalf of my mother and the estate of my father, Lawrence C. Crawford, and we really don't have much to add to the report. The reason we're doing this is the longtime tenant is trying to purchase the house, and they've had trouble getting financing through a bank when they see that it's zoned for commercial. So we're trying to assist them in getting finance.
All right. Commissioners, any questions for the petitioner? All right, seeing none, anybody in the audience object to this petition? Anybody in support? All right, staff recommendations.
All right, thank you.
The Planning Development staff recommends approval of the rezoning request to R1A, one family residence. That concludes staff recommendation.
Sir, do you accept those recommendations? I do. All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded a lot of times to approve this particular agenda item. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. This petition has been approved, and it'll be moved forward to the October 21st full commission. All right, moving on to item number 4.
All right. Z-25-34, a petition by Matt Mills on behalf of Cyber Housing LLC requesting a rezoning from Zone R1E, one family residence, to Zone PUD, planned unit development to develop a mixed resident community affecting approximately 25.71 acres out of a 111.4 acres tract located at 2384 Gordon Highway. Staff will present.
Amanda Cruz, Planner 1. This application involves 25.71 acres of land out of a 111.4 acre tract. The applicant seeks to develop a planned unit development, PUD for short, for a mixed residential community consisting of 117 residential dwelling units consisting of single-family detached housing, townhomes, duplexes, and triplexes. The proposed development is in the South Augusta character area. Mixed use and planned unit developments are encouraged at infill sites and at abandoned commercial properties, which would enhance walkability and reduce car dependency. Infill will be instrumental in the future development of South Augusta. The applicant's proposal is compatible with the desired development pattern for the South Augusta character area. Currently, the property is a vacant, undeveloped land. However, this development will be part of a phased community known as Miller's Crossing. Previous rezoning action Z21-44 requested to change the rezoning from RMH, manufactured home residential, to R1E, one family residential, to develop townhomes. This was approved by the Augusta Commission in June 2021 with conditions. The conditions with approval of previous rezoning Z21-44 are as follows. The proposed development shall substantially conform to the concept plan submitted with the rezoning application. The proposed subdivision shall not contain more than 117 townhome lots. Provide sidewalks along at least one side of the street throughout the proposed development. A minimum 10-foot undisturbed buffer must be provided along the side and rear boundaries of the entire tract. The site requires a minimum of 25% open space. The development shall include an amenity area, which may require the removal of some lots within the overall development. The amenity area shall include grill areas by the pond, a clubhouse, splash pad, and/or pool, and walking trails, all to be jointly accessible to residents of all phases of the development. Augusta Traffic Engineering will require a traffic assessment, possibly a traffic study, to determine whether existing roadways will need additional improvements. And lastly, the project shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Georgia at the time of development. The proposed development will not have any individual simple fee simple title lots for sale. The development will feature a build to rent management style, and the proposed PUD will consist of the following: 25.71 acres of residential area, which is 117 single-family homes, townhomes, duplexes, and triplexes, which are broken down at 20, 24 by 28 single-family homes, 20, 18 by 34 single-family homes, 14, 22 by 38 single-family homes, 15, 22 by 48 single-family homes with garages, 6, 22 by 38 townhomes, which equates to 2 townhome actual buildings, 20, 22 by 44 townhouses with garages, which would be 5 townhome buildings, 16, 19 by 32 duplex units, which is 8 duplex buildings, and 6, 19 by 32 triplex units, which would be 2 triplex buildings. The maximum height proposed for the units are all 2 stories. The initial design of the proposed PUD development has set aside 15% of the development for green space, which is the minimum requirement for this zoning district. Buffers and a 6-foot privacy fence are proposed where the PUD development adjoins future single-family zoning and uses. Large natural buffer between Gordon Highway and the proposed development are proposed due to the wetlands that are located on that site. And internal streets will be private with street parking dispersed throughout, and there will be sidewalks on the internal streets. 326 parking spaces are proposed for the PUD development. Surface parking lots will accommodate the required off-street parking for multifamily use. Some single-family residences will have garages or driveways to provide additional spaces per dwelling unit. Residential units that do not have garages or driveways will have parking areas, and on-street parking will be available. Required guest parking will be available with on-street parking. The overall PUD development will have 50-foot front setbacks off Gordon Highway and 40-foot rear setbacks. Augusta Transit is not available within half a mile of the proposed PUD. Access to the PUD will be from Gordon Highway. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation, GDOT, functional classification map of 2017, Gordon Highway is classified as a principal arterial route. A complete traffic study from 2023 was submitted with the rezoning application, and the results from that traffic study stated the following recommendations. A traffic signal should be installed at the intersection. There should be one entering lane and 2 exit lanes at the site driveway, 1 exiting left and 1 right. An eastbound right turn lane on SR 10 is warranted for traffic entering the site, and leading, protected, and permissive signal phasing is recommended for the northbound and westbound left turn movements. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps firm, the property is not located within special flood hazard areas. And according to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS wetlands layer, there are wetlands located on this property. The rezoning is consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan, which supports planned unit developments at infill sites for greater housing opportunities. And at the time of completion of the report, staff have not received any inquiries regarding the petition as advertised. We did receive comments from both engineering and utilities, and I can read them off for you. Engineering stated that the drainage system cannot tie into the Miller's Crossing Pond should it be dedicated. The road system will not be dedicated to Augusta, Georgia. And then utilities stated there's currently no water or sewer available for this project. The water and sewer are in phase 1 and have not been installed. Phase 1 will need to be completed before we can approve phase 2 plans. It appears that there are no property lines within this phase. This phase will need to be master metered and can have private sub-meters at each residence, and internal sewer will be private. This will allow for cleanout and sub-meters to be placed anywhere on the lot they would like for each residence. There will not be a water interconnection with phase 1 other than the master meter. The sewer connection can tie into the proposed county meter sewer in phase 1 to make the public and private connection. And that concludes staff presentation.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? All right, sir, if you come forward, give us your name, your address, and any new details on your petition.
Sure, my name is Matt Mills. My address is 3009 Lake Forest Drive, Augusta, Georgia. Thank you, Amanda, for describing our project. I think the most important thing to be clear on here is this is part of a large project that we're already underway with. It's called Miller's Crossing. We had the right to build 117 townhomes with our existing zoning today. It's always been our intention from day one to rent those 117 townhomes, but we've come up with a better product. I mean, quite frankly, I think today's renters are more picky. This enables us to rent single-family houses and townhomes that have a lot more curb appeal than your average townhome. So it's really a decision of whether do you want the same old townhome, which we've got all over Augusta, or do you want something new and creative? Because we're always trying to do something best in class. And I think this will set a new standard for Richmond County because I think our product is superior to what you see with your typical townhome development. You saw the elevations up there. We were planning on renting them either way. So if we we can go back to our old plan, which is a very conventional plan, where the city, we dedicate the roads to the city would have to maintain them, and we would build townhomes on parcels. We just couldn't do a creative, with the current zoning ordinance, we couldn't do a creative product with the existing zoning because the setbacks, when you try to get creative and you try to do nicer architecture with roads close, houses closer to the roads and rear access and stuff like that, our existing townhome ordinance doesn't allow you to do that. So we believe strongly that this is a much superior product at the end of the day, and Richmond County would end up with less maintenance obligations and a better rental product than what we were going to build. The remainder of the subdivision is all going to be fee simple. And this section of is right when you come in, it kind of sits off by itself, so it's in the perfect location. We got way more than 15% buffers in there when you start looking at the wetlands and the green space between us and Gordon Highway. We've already done a traffic study. We've already been approved for a traffic signal on Gordon Highway. So, like I said, I believe this to be far superior to what we were going to build. And I hope you guys do too, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, Commissioners, do you have questions of the petitioner? Commissioner Spencer.
So you said the remaining of the project will be fee simple townhomes?
Yes, no, not townhomes, fee simple, I may have said townhomes, they will all be fee simple houses. We've got several builders lined up to build those houses and sell them. But this is in an opportunity zone. So our investors invested in this area knowing that we'd have to hold some of the product for 10 years to qualify. So we have to build and rent a section of this to fulfill our obligations to the IRS. So I'm not just saying we're going to build townhomes and rent them. We will build townhomes and rent them because that's what our investors lined up to do. But I think this is better for the county. It's a better looking project. It's one we can be more proud of. And I think Richmond County can as well.
All right, additional questions from commissioners?
What happened to the amenities?
We still have them. There's a pond, and we're exploring. It's in the middle of the whole. It doesn't make sense to build an amenity package just for the townhomes, and one for the overall development. So what we've got a pond that we acquired that is just to the. It's off that site plan, but it would be to the eastern side of that. It's about a 2-acre pond. We plan to build outdoor play area and potentially a splash pad. We talked to some commissioners and some residents around there about doing a splash pad kind of park around that the whole neighborhood would have. This particular section has a green space park in the middle of it as well.
How about a clubhouse? Didn't I hear a clubhouse on the previous one, staff? I didn't. Originally, it was a clubhouse and a pool.
A previous 21 case did reference a clubhouse, but staff, during our pre-meeting, we talked about mirroring some of that particular condition to this. And we eliminated the clubhouse, but there was an option to do a pool or a splash pad. So that'd be read as part of the conditions.
I'd like to share with you some Governor's Place subdivision, which we still, I'm still the president of the HOA. There's a lot of the pools in the area have had a lot of problems lately. You may have read about the guy that got shot. That was the manager of the apartments that are there at Barton Chapel and Gordon Highway. Those same kids that ended up shooting the manager, we've had like 60 or 70 of them jumping the fence and causing lots of problems in several neighborhoods around there. And so we kind of scratch our head and say, are we going to build something that's going to attract the wrong element, or do we want to support our residents? I just throw that out there. So that's when we kind of have started backing off and saying maybe a splash pad's a better use, maybe a more passive park is a better use. Because you also burden the residents with having to pay for maintaining the clubhouse and pool.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anybody in the audience object this particular petition? Okay, ma'am, would you like to come forward? All right, if you come forward and give us your name, address, and your question.
Hello, my name is Patricia Jeter, and I'm at 4102 Elders Drive in West Augusta. I have some questions about this development. I did see that I believe it's located inside of a trailer park. The land that's behind the trailer park, I believe it's Bell Ridge or Belmont Trailer Park. My question is what type of HUD development is this again? When you say fee simple, are you saying this is affordable housing, Section 8?
Ms. Jeter, we are not allowed to ask those type of questions to the petitioner.
Gotcha. Can I ask you?
No, ma'am. Are there any additional questions that's not related to the cost?
Well, my question is, I'm trying to find out if it's affordable housing. Secondly, I did hear him say, the gentleman say that you all had some amenities that you scratched from the project. that were included that would increase the value of this development. Yes, some HOAs have been having problems with pools, but amenities do increase value in neighborhoods, especially a clubhouse, where it's like a social hub for the community. So I'm trying to understand, I heard you say something about you all scratched the clubhouse as well. So it sounds like it's just gonna be a bunch of residential mixed-use rentals, which is literally close to our community. And it is going to increase traffic congestion, which, as long as it's increasing the value of our area, I think it would be beneficial.
Okay, thank you. Is that the end of your comments?
Well, I'm trying to understand why all the amenities were wiped away from this development.
I don't believe they were wiped away. I know that we're going to address those in the conditions. However, if I'll defer to staff if they want to elaborate on that now.
Okay, so we reached out to the applicant last week regarding amenities, and they are stating that they would like for the amenities to be positioned or in the other phases of the development. But from our conversations from the pre-meeting, we have come up with, make sure I got it right. Yeah. So staff is recommending that the amenities reflect the zoning case that was applied to this particular parcel back in 21, where there was a townhome development for this parcel for R1E zoning. And it would be amenity areas for the site to include grill areas by the pond, potentially a splash pad and or pool, walking trails that would be jointly accessible to the residents of this phase of the development. So that's going to be one of the conditions out of many for this PUD development.
So what I'm hearing you say, Mr. Kevin,
yeah.
Can't think of your last name right now.
Got it. No, you're good. Yeah.
But you did say that, in other words, these are options. And so you all do have some amenities considered, but you're not exactly totally clear on which ones are going to be included.
Yeah. So we said shall. So it would include the grill areas. They would have an option between a splash pad or pool, and then walking trails to be included.
That sounds better than my community. But anyway, that's how you doing, Commissioner Rice?
But of course, the applicant would need to agree, and then there will be deliberation with the commission.
I have one other question. I did hear the gentleman say that it's going to be a pond. Now, to my understanding, there's a 93-acre reservoir that's already running adjacent to these partials. So, and I'm concerned about wetlands, destroying the wetlands that do provide clean drinking water, and they do make up a very important, valuable part of our ecosystem. So, that being said, I had to leave out with my granddaughter. You all are going to the core. It's my understanding they're going to the core first, and the core is going to allow them to mitigate.
Right.
And and if they are destroying wetlands, they're going to restore the watershed somewhere else. That's the way it goes with the core.
Exactly. So their concept plan on page 58 of the packet does identify that there are established wetlands for the site, which this development would be outside of. They're actually providing adequate separation. The main entrance, it seems like it traversed a wetlands, but they probably went through the process and they have to, as you stated, go through the court and receive that approval as part of our site plan approval process.
Definitely my concern, because it's adjacent to our community and we have wetlands over there as well. And so if those are impacted in any way, it could impact our wetlands in our area. So yes, like I said, I did not have a opposition. It sounds like it's going to be a beautiful community. But my main concern is with the developers that come over in our area, they want to build cheap. And I have a problem with that. But you got sidewalks and walking trails. Who's going to maintain all this under a HUD property? Is it going to be up to the owner of the property, or how does that work? As far as who maintains the walking trails, I'm sorry, the walking trails and keeps it aesthetically pleasing?
Okay, so Ms. Jeter, if you could just express all your concerns at one time, and then we'll give the petitioner opportunity to address the ones that he can.
Okay, my main concern, like I said, is the value in our area. What's being built over in, that is a part of South Augusta, but it's also Southwest Augusta. And so it's the corridor into our community. So aesthetically pleasing properties is very important to uphold the value over in our area. So that's number one. Who's going to make sure that these properties are properly maintained and managed? However, you can't tell me whether they're affordable housing or not, which I don't have a problem with affordable housing. But if it's Section 8, I would like to know. I have a problem with that, especially on top of us. So we already have a affordable housing apartment complex over called Lakeview Terrace. So now you're getting ready to stick a whole another 25 acres, I believe he said something. That's a lot. And so it sounds like Fort Knox is being built on top of us that very well could turn into, I'm sorry. My main concern is maintaining what's there and what's to come, leading into our community. We don't want a huge ghetto on top of us. And I'm not saying anything derogatory in regards to the people that's going to be living in there. I'm talking about how the size is huge. There's already an apartment complex down the street, Point Grand.
And you have a balance of about 3 minutes, Ms. Jeter.
Okay. There's already an apartment complex down the street called Point Grand. They have 250 units, and they're getting ready to build another 250 units on Gordon Highway. That being said, my concern is, yes, we want to bring up South Augusta and we want to bring up Southwest Augusta. We also want to bring up Gordon Highway, but we don't want it to be Section 8 alley on Gordon Highway, bottom line.
All right, thank you so very much, Ms. Jeter. You have a beautiful granddaughter. Anybody in the audience support this petition? All right, to the petitioner, you heard a couple of the concerns. You're more than welcome to address the ones that you can.
Yeah, well, I think one of our biggest concerns was that this was some kind of HUD project. This is in no way subsidized at all.
You're not required to answer that question.
But I mean, I'm happy to. I mean, if I lived next door, I'd be concerned there was going to be Section 8 in there. That is not our intention whatsoever. Our most recent project in Richmond County is right behind the old skating rink, the ice skating rink. It's 75 houses. It's called the Cottages Ansley. Our entry-level rent in that starts at $2,200. I think it's $2,200 a month. That's not Section 8. Those are 3-bedroom houses. They're all, I mean, it's a cute little subdivision. I encourage you to look at it. We developed the Governor's Place subdivision right off Jimmy Dice Parkway on Harper Franklin. I think when we started in that development, we started in the high 2s. We ended in the 5. Some houses in there sold over 5. We did the Kroger shopping center there on Jimmy Dice Parkway. I think that's raised property values. It's made it more convenient for people to have good shopping options. We built our business. We reside in Augusta, Georgia. We don't want to apologize for a project. I mean, we're trying to do something better than what we previously had planned, and I think we've got a good game plan to do it. As it relates to, I think I answered housing values and HUD, which seem to be her biggest concerns, but I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Commissioners, do you have any additional questions? Any final questions?
Mr. Commissioner, I'll add something for the staff and for everybody here. I agree with what's going on here. These townhome subdivisions that are solely townhome can be a problem for Augusta. And to have this mixed type use is a good use, is a better use. And it's something that's gonna support Augusta instead of bringing it down like having 200 townhomes. So,
I agree with you.
all right. And I just wanted to make that statement.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner McKnight. Let's move to staff recommendations.
The planning development staff recommends approval of the zoning request with the following conditions. Permitted use of the site be limited to single-family detached homes, townhomes, duplex, and triplex. The total height of proposed building within PUD shall not exceed 2 stories. The development shall substantially conform to the conceptual site plan dated July 30th, 2025. The overall resident density of 25.71 acres residential area of the PUD shall not exceed 4.55 dwelling units per acre. Parking shall be provided for the resident number of units and an overall average of 2.25 parking spaces per unit. Parking requirements not addressed in this PUD development shall comply with the parking requirement in Section 4-2 of the City of Augusta Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Sidewalks shall be included on both sides of the street within the development. The development shall provide a minimum 40-foot rear buffer where the proposed PUD adjoining commercial zoning along the eastern property line. The development shall provide a minimum of 20-foot side buffers where the proposed PUD adjoining future single-family zoning areas, zoning and uses. The development shall install 6-foot privacy fences where the PUD adjoining future single-family zoning and uses. A minimum of 15% of the overall site shall be for the green space. The PUD shall comply with the Augusta Tree Ordinance or obtain variance from the Tree Commission. The PUD development shall comply with the requirement of Augusta engineering and traffic engineering, including but not limited to the permitting of new curb cuts. Lighting in the parking lot shall be direct downward and away from any nearby residence. The development shall include amenity areas within the overall development. The amenities areas shall include grills areas by the pond, a splash pad and/or pool, and walking trails, all to be joint accessible to the residents of all phases of development. The building elevation shall generally reflect those submitted with the application and final building elevations, and the materials of the proposed structure may be subject to design review by the planning director or designated staff. Changes determined to be minor to the approval PUD shall be handled administratively by the planning director, designated staff in accordance with the Section 19-6 of the City of Augusta Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Changes determined to be major shall require amendments. The approved PUD require Augusta Commission approval in accordance with Section 19-8 of the City of Augusta Comprehensive Zoning. Site plan approval in compliance with the site plan regulation of Augusta, Georgia for the actual development is required prior to construction commence on the property. Development of the property shall comply with all development standards and regulations of the Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia as amended at the time of development. This concludes staff recommendation.
Thank you. Sir, do you accept the staff recommendations?
Yes, but I'd like to have flexibility to work with staff on sidewalks on both sides of the street and on the materials for the housing. I mentioned that because it doesn't make sense to build 2 sidewalks up the entry road. And there's certain areas where the slope's going to stop off. We intend to put sidewalks on both sides of the street, but there's just some places on the sidewalk that doesn't make sense. It's kind of like the DOT is going to make us put a crosswalk across Gordon Highway for pedestrians to get to the railroad tracks. It didn't make a lot of sense, but DOT's making us doing it. We just like, we can work with staff, and as long as they're okay with it, we just like the flexibility to work with them on sidewalks.
Mr. Chairman, I think the staff has already addressed that by minor changes. Wouldn't that fall under minor changes?
Yeah, we're getting ready to defer to staff and see if there's something that we need to address right now or if that can be addressed at a different phase.
All right, Matt. So on the concept plan there before you, it shows it illustrates sidewalks. And so we sort of are under assumption that based on what you show here is what you're committing to. So we base that, I think, based on some of what we found in your narrative as well as the illustration here in terms of connectivity for sidewalks. Are there specific locations that you were seeking to remove sidewalks?
Well, for example, it doesn't make sense on both sides of the entry. Once you get up to this section, I think it makes sense to have sidewalks, but why build two going into this section?
You're talking about the part that's that is shaded outside of on the plan.
It's shaded green, but it's where like around by the mail kiosk. It doesn't make sense to have sidewalks on the other side.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You could cross the street and then I'm not, that's $40,000 or $50,000 worth of sidewalks that doesn't make sense to put in. And I just want the flexibility to work with staff on the sidewalks, that's all. I think we'll both agree where they are.
Is that allowable, Kevin? Can we, go ahead.
In the context that these internal roadways are private, they're not public, there's a clear distinction. If these were public roads, it would be required if this was a fee simple configuration, but this is a uniform tract that is not subdivided, and so it's private roads. There's no regulations that require it to be on both sides of private roads or drives.
So essentially, we can move forward, taking a vote, and then this is something that you guys can address at a later time.
Or we could just state that the sidewalks be on the side of where the kiosk is and eliminate it from the opposite side. That could be made as part of the conditions.
Okay. And that will suffice for you?
Yeah, we can meet next week and have a colored plan to where they want them.
Commissioners, you've heard the staff comments to the request. Do you all have any questions or comments concerning what you've heard? Commissioner O'Neill.
I just have one. Why was it shown in the first place? And that's what gave staff the impression that's what he was going to do.
I can't catch all the engineer's mistakes.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
I did. I can't catch all the engineer's mistakes when I'm looking at so many plans, but we just try to value engineer things and make it.
You were saying what was my question? I had asked him about the concept plan that the sidewalk is shown there, but if his intention was not to put it there, why was it shown there in the first place?
Because the engineer put it on the plan and I didn't catch it till now.
All right, any
Mr. Chairman, because this is a PUD, should we delay taking action on this and let them get it right so that the record can show the appropriate improvements so that there's no mistake moving forward?
I can't wait. They won't review my plans for this section. I'm behind schedule. I really can't afford to wait.
All right, let's hear from the staff. Kevin, you had something you wanted to add?
So for a condition number 6, where it says sidewalks shall be included on both sides of the street within the development, we can amend our recommendation to state that sidewalks shall be included on both sides of the street of development with exception to the main entrance where he's wanting it to be to one side, along the milk kiosk. So we can amend it to state that.
And would you agree to that amendment to the recommendations?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So with the new recommendations from staff, with that approval, with the amended conditions, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve with staff recommendations.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve this agenda item. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same right. All right.
Thank you.
The agenda item passes and will be heard at the October 21st full commission. All right, let's move to item number 6.
All right. Z-25-36, a petition by Berkey Ayers on behalf of DJ Davis Enterprise LLC requesting a rezoning from Zone R1C, 1 family residence, to Zone R2, 2 family residence, to develop a duplex affecting property containing approximately 0.14 acres located at 1622 and 1624 Lucky Street. Staff will present.
Good afternoon, Ashley Catterton, Development Services Administrator. The rezoning application is a request to rezone two 0.07 acre properties that are located at 1622 and 1624 Lucky Street from R1C to R2 to develop a duplex. According to the 2023 comprehensive plan, the property is within the Old Augusta character area. The vision for this character area reflects to maintain and enhance its historic character and unique mix of land uses while maintaining stability in established neighborhoods. Redevelopment should include the removal of deteriorated and dilapidated structures, construct or rehabilitation of single-family housing, new medium and high-density housing, additional commercial and office development, new civic and institutional facilities. This request supports the rehabilitation of Old Augusta character area by establishing new medium-density housing, and therefore is consistent with the recommendations of the 2023 Comprehensive Plan update. For findings, both parcels are currently vacant as the homes that were previously located there became inhabitable and had to be demolished. The properties do not meet the requirements for a minimum lot width of 50 feet, as both properties measure 30 feet in width. However, the applicant intends to combine the properties, which will result in a compliant lot width of 60 feet. The properties do not meet the minimum square footage area of 5,000 square feet, as the total area of each property is 2,896 square feet. However, the applicant intends to combine the properties, which will result in a compliant square footage area of 5,792 square feet. The conceptual site plan submitted with the application for the proposed duplex shows that the proposed location of the structure would meet the setback requirements for the R2 zoning district once the two parcels are combined. The conceptual site plan submitted with this application for the proposed duplex shows that the entrance and exit to the duplex will be facing Lucky Street and configured in the same manner as the majority of other homes in the neighborhood. R2 zoning requires 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit for a minimum of 4 parking spaces. The conceptual site plan submitted with the application shows that there are 4 parking spaces. There is not an existing sidewalk across the front of the property, and no sidewalks are present along Lucky Street. The property has access to public water and public sanitary and sewer. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. According to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located on this property. Public transit is available to the north on 15th Street, approximately 700 feet walking distance from the property. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation State Functional Classification Map, Lucky Street is classified as a local road. About half of the surrounding properties on this block are zoned R1C, consisting of single-family homes ranging in size from approximately 0.06 acre to 0.21 acres, with the remaining properties consisting of vacant parcels. Adjacent properties to the east on Lucky Street are currently zoned R2. The proposed rezoning is consistent with the 2023 Comprehensive Plan, and at the time of completion of this report, staff did not receive any inquiries regarding this petition. And that concludes staff's, oh, just kidding. I have one more thing. Sorry. There were comments that were provided by engineering and utilities, the main one being engineering comments, and that is if residences are to be rented, they are commercial development, not residential, and therefore they must go through a site plan submission. And that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the
Mr. Chairman, I have a question in reference to staff. This is not more than a 1 to 4 family unit. Why would it be considered commercial?
I'm sorry, what was the question, sir?
I get that one.
Okay, good.
This is a official comment from the Utilities Office. Per our site plan regulations that's adopted, there's a natural exemption for grading permits when it relates to duplexes and single-family detached. So what this is basically signifying is the Utilities Office would want more, they want more in the game to kind of figure out, what is meeting their standards. So basically what this translates to is it still would be an administrative review, but they would have to submit their plans online through our e-plan review process.
For the grading permit?
Not necessarily. So we have administrative site plan review through our electronic plan review.
I got you.
Yeah, that's what this would be. That's basically what he's conveying, the official from the Utilities Office.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And to clarify, that's engineering, not
That was the engineering.
engineering, not utilities.
All right, is the petitioner present? All right, sir, if you could come forward, give us your name, address, and any new details on your project.
Good afternoon. I'm Berkey Ayer, 305 Broad Street, Augusta, Georgia, 30901. I'm the engineer of record, and I prepared the plot plan and the zoning petition. Well, we're going through a three-point thing here. First, we have to get it rezoned, and then we have to have a variance, and then we have to have a site plan approval. So this is the first of the three steps. I'm glad he brought that up because we don't generally have to submit duplexes for site plan review to the engineering people. Historically, if you submit a site plan in the portal, it takes 45 days for approval. Whereas a plot plan can be approved basically as you take it up there. And the many that we have done in this particular area and of downtown is going on. I don't know of any that have been required to submit as a site plan. We have a plot plan already prepared, obviously, which takes into grading, the soil erosion, sediment control, the sewer, the water, whatever. A site plan is historically is for a multiple lot thing, and I've asked this question to Kevin and several of them many times. When do we consider that it's not, you can't use a plot plan anymore? Because I have seen dozens of residences built and duplexes built that didn't go through the site plan process. So that would be our only sticking point, because that's going to take another 45 days. And the process now is going to wind up taking almost 6-7 months to get approval, because once you go through the zoning, then you got to go through the variance, and then you got to go through the review process. Each one of those can take a minimum of 45 days, and that puts you into spring. So that would be my only question, is why it would be necessary to go through engineering for something that's basically a residential thing.
All right, thank you, sir. First, let's get some questions from commissioners if there are any additional ones. All right, seeing none. I'm sorry, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I have one concerning the site plan also. I know that we passed several applications this year that do not require that for duplexes and quads. So I'm just wondering the same thing.
I'll defer to the staff, and staff can add some insight to that question.
And then this is, in light of being collaborative and getting input from the various departments. Of course, planning and zoning can't review and approve everything. Engineering wants to be able to provide feedback for certain, projects that are going on. And normally, as Berkey mentioned, submit it over the counter, we'll approve it the same day, and that would be a zoning approval essentially. What we're hearing from the engineering department is for this particular type of development, they want to have a say. They want to be able to comment and provide feedback. This does not in any means require that they provide engineered plans, but as stated, if you do submit through the portal, it is going to take longer for a review. It's 30 to 45 days. There's not an expedited time frame. The system is fixed for any type of review. It'll be the 30 to 45 days. But this is to ensure that the other departments are able to provide feedback for development that are not single-family detached.
How, Mr. Chairman?
Are you done with your question? Commissioner Davis, did you have some follow-up? All right, Commissioner Cook.
Kevin, how did that get implemented? And was it approved by the commission, or is this a staff issue?
Yeah, this is because it is an administrative review. It wouldn't trigger any additional paperwork, so to speak. It would just the process has changed, but the actual submittal requirements remain the same. In light of that, there has been concerns about recent developments, small-scale developments. We recently approved this body on Sullivan Road, the quadplex, and so there's been questions about that. So it's been a drip, 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 and it's not coming from the zoning office. This is directed to us from external forces, and they just want to be able to provide feedback on these type of developments, and historically they have not. It's come through the front at the front desk, and zoning only would approve these type of developments historically.
So this is most recent then?
Yeah, this is very much recent.
That's ridiculous.
And I know that this is not the subject of this, that would have to be a separate item, so we can't really dwell too much on the process. If we would like to do that, it would need to be,
Them separate from
yeah,
this. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So Commissioner, do you have any questions that are relevant? I understand that there's some frustration about the logistics, but it sounds as if planning is not exclusively responsible for that change. So as it relates to today, is there any additional questions that are relevant to this particular petition? Okay, seeing none. Anybody in the audience object? All right, anybody in support? All right, let's hear staff recommendations.
All right, the planning commission. Planning commission thing, but it's really planning staff. Yeah. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning request as proposed development. It consistent with the 2023 comprehensive planning with the following condition. The applicant must successfully combine the two parcels into one parcel prior to submitting for the site plan review. The applicant must petition for a variance for the reduction of the side setbacks from 7 feet to 6 feet. Approval of this rezoning request does not constitute approval of the conceptual site plan submitted with the rezoning application. The proposed development shall obtain site plan approval in compliance with the site plan regulation of Augusta, Georgia, prior to construction commencing on this property. The development of the property shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia, as amended at the time of development. This concludes staff recommendation.
Do you accept those recommendations, sir, from the staff?
We're not given any choice, it doesn't look like, to be honest with you. Yes, we would agree to that.
All right, Chair, we'll entertain a motion.
We just hate being the guinea pig for the first time out the door. I understand this, and as a point of reference, I have questioned several times in the past why we allow duplexes to be built or 2 units to be built on one lot. We just approved one of those last week. But we'll live with what we have to live with, obviously, to get it approved. But it's just a point that we'd like to put to make sure that if we have to do it, everybody else does. It just delays us at least 45 days.
So that's not part of the conditioning of this report. It's basically to combine the lots and you have the variance process because there's a setback shortage, and then comply with all the regulations. That process is not part of this approval. It's not part of.
Site plan approval is not part of this process?
Not, that's the three conditions right here. Just to be, these are the three conditions. Oh, well, there's the fourth condition here, but these are standard conditions.
Yeah, but we still had to have it has to be sent to the engineering for site plan
But
review.
that's not part of this zoning.
That's what it says in the zoning letter, doesn't it? I mean,
So Kevin, can we
I'm
just,
confused now because I just read that we had to have a site plan submitted by engineering would require site plan approval.
so it seems like it may be a little bit of confusion. Can we clear that confusion after? It seems like you accept the recommendations that were read. We can take action on it, and then perhaps you guys can meet and get some clarification on what comes next. All right, so the petitioner has accepted the staff recommendations. Do I hear a motion from
Move to
commissioners?
approve, Mr. Chairman. Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve this particular agenda item with staff recommendations. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same right.
Abstain.
I already have one. Okay, you got it, yeah. All right, sir, well, this, your agenda item will be moved forward to the October 21st full commission.
Thank you for your time.
All right, let's move to item number 7.
All right. Z-25-37, a petition by Nicholas Eldry requesting a rezone from Zone P1 Professional Office to Zone B1 Neighborhood Business to develop a rental property affecting property containing approximately 0.21 acres located at 2054 Walton Way. Staff will present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Vassar, members of the commission and staff, good afternoon. Todd Kennedy from the Planning and Zoning Department, Senior Planner. This rezoning request consists of a parcel totaling 0.21 acres. The applicant seeks to rezone the property from P1, for professional office, to B1, that is neighborhood business, to develop a residential investment property and/or potential business uses per the letter of intent submitted with the application. The property is located near the intersection of Hurd Avenue and Walton Way. Comprehensive plan consistency. According to the 2023 comprehensive plan, the property is within Old Augusta character area. The vision for Old Augusta character area reflects to maintain and enhance its historic character and unique mix of land uses while maintaining stability as established in neighborhoods. Redevelopment should include the removal of, let's see, hold on, I lost my place. Redevelopment should include a mix of land uses while maintaining the removal of deteriorating and dilapidated structures and construct or rehabilitation of single-family housing, new medium and high-density housing, additional commercial and office development, new civic and institutional facilities. This request supports the vision for the Old Augusta character area by enhancing its unique mix of land uses and construction of additional commercial development, and therefore is consistent with the recommendations of the 2023 Comprehensive Plan update. The findings are as follows. Findings are 1 through 11. Number 1, the property is currently a professional office and was constructed in 1901. Number 2, there are no recent zoning history for the property as it resides within Augusta Somerville Historic District. Number 3, a total of 6 off-street parking spaces would be required in the rear of the property. Number 4, the Georgia Department of Transportation Function Classification Map 2017 classifies this section of Walton Way as a major collector, while Hurd Avenue is considered a local road. Number 5, public transit is not available in the immediate area. Number 6, the subject area is served by both public water and sanitary sewer. Number 7, adjacent zoning, west B1, local business, east is P1, professional office, and R1C, one family residential. To the south, R1C, one family residential, And to the north is P1, professional office. Number 8, according to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the property is located in a special flood hazard area. Number 9, according to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS wetlands layer, there are no wetlands located on the property. Number 10, the proposed rezoning to B1 would be consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan. And number 11, at the time of completion of this report, staff has not received any notifications concerning this rezoning application. Comments received from engineering and utility. Their comment received by the utility is as follows. There is a 6-inch water main and there is a 12-inch sewer main on Walton Way and is available for their use. That concludes staff's presentation. Myself, staff, and the applicant are all here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? All right, sir, if you could come forward and give us your name, address, and any new information on your petition.
Yeah, good afternoon. Judd Conkle, 3013 Cardinal Drive, Augusta, Georgia. Here on behalf of the petitioner, Mr. Nick Edry, and like staff so eloquently said, we are trying to simply change designation from P1 to a B1. House really functions better as a residential property. He's had commercial tenants in there. We think the B1 zoning would probably do a little better from a functionality standpoint, just with some of the deficiencies that are on the site currently.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, you have questions of the petitioner?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. What is the primary intended use? Is it residential or B1? Or business?
B1, we've previously had commercial tenants in there. He would like just the flexibility to be able to market it for residential rental as well. Felt like the flexibility with B1 was a little easier than strictly going to a residential zoning.
All right, additional questions from commissioners? All right, seeing none. Anybody in the audience object to this petition? Anybody support? Okay, staff recommendations.
All right, the planning development staff recommends approval of the rezoning request to the B1 neighborhood business with the following conditions. The Historic Preservation Commission HPC approval and subsequent issuance of a certificate of appropriateness may be required prior to the commencement of any exterior changes to the parcel. Installation of a 6-foot shadow box fence along the rear property line and along the side property line that is adjacent to the residential zoning and uses per section 8-4-13 of the Augusta Tree Ordinance. Installation of a 20-foot buffer strip along the rear property line and installation of a 10-foot buffer strip along the side property line that is adjacent to the residence zoning and use of per section 8-4-13 of the Augusta Tree Ordinance. Should the applicant not provide the required 6 parking space, then they shall obtain approval of a parking variance prior to requesting a building permit and or business license at this parcel. The development must comply with all aspects of the Augusta Tree Ordinance. Approval of this rezoning request does not constitute approval of the conceptual site plan submitted with the rezoning application. The proposed development shall obtain site plan approval in compliance with the site plan regulation of Augusta, Georgia, prior to construction commencing on this property. The development of the property shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia, as amended at the time of development. This concludes staff recommendation.
All right, sir, do you accept the recommendations from staff?
We do.
All right, Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve this agenda item. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same right. All right, this agenda item has been approved. Sir, this will move forward to the October 21st full commission. Thank you. All right, we're rounding third. All right, let's move to agenda item number 8.
All right. SC-25-12, a petition by Moses Missionary Baptist Church requesting a special session per section 26-1A of the comprehensive zoning ordinance to install 2 monument signs and bring an existing church into zoning conformance, affecting property containing approximately 1.43 acres located at 27, 29, 33, 112, and 120 Walker Street, 515, 516, and 611 First Street, and 109 Watkins Street, and 6 16 Forsyth Street, Zone R3C, multiple family residence. Staff represent.
All right, Kevin Boyd, Development Services Manager. This special exception involves 10 parcels totaling approximately 1.43 acres and situated in the R3C zone. The properties front Walker, First, Watkins, and Forsyth Streets. The main and parcel and largest property, 112 Walker Street, contains Moses Missionary Baptist Church and a paved parking lot. Many of the tracts that the church owned remain largely vacant, undeveloped land. According to the Augusta Richmond County Tax Office records, the church was constructed back in 1983. This request seeks to bring the church properties into zoning conformance and support the installation of 2 monument signs. Churches and other religious institutions are not permitted by right in the R3C multiple family residential zone, but may be granted with approval of a special exception. There are no recent zoning history for the property. Section 26-1A of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, churches and other religious institutions may be permitted under the zoning if they generally conform with the following criteria. The first criteria is that a tract upon which a church is to be established shall have at least 100 feet of frontage on a collector street or an arterial street and be at least 1/2 acre in area. Staff found that the affected properties front local roads and the church has been integrated in the community for several decades. 2, that the structures shall have a setback at least 25 feet from any property line separating the subject property from residentially zoned or developed properties. The footprint of the church sits on the property line of Walker Street and measures approximately 19.5 feet from Forsyth Street and 68 feet from First Street. Placement of the structure exceeds the minimum rear setback of 25 feet. The third criteria is that off-street parking shall conform with Section 4 of this ordinance. The site has 26 paved off-street parking spaces, including 3 handicap spaces. Required parking is calculated at a rate of 1 space for every 3 seats in the main sanctuary at maximum capacity. And then the last item is not applicable, but there is required to be a plan illustrating compliance of the above requirements submitted with this application before the proposal is placed on the agenda. Item number 4 of the findings is that the intent is to install 2 6-foot tall monument signs at 33 Walker Street and 120 Walker Street. The signs were measured 9 square feet and 18 square feet in size with no additional improvements for the site. The site has access to public water and sewer. According to the FEMA flood insurance maps, the properties are not located in the special flood hazard area, but are protected by the levee. According to the Augusta Richmond County GIS map layer, no wetlands are located on the properties. The nearest transit bus stop measures 0.07 miles from the properties. The Georgia Department of Transportation GDOT function classification map classifies Walker, First, Watkins, and Forsyth Streets as local roads. The proposed special exception is consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan. At the time of completion of the staff report, staff has not received any inquiries regarding the proposed petition as advertised, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Kevin. Ms. Henderson, I believe this one belongs to you. All right. Well, for the ones that don't know you, if you come forward and give us your name and your address and any new details about your petition.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Sharon Henderson, 2507 Castlewood Court, Augusta, Georgia. I am the church administrator, and I'm also a trustee at the Moses Missionary Baptist Church. And at this time, we don't have any additional information.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the petitioner? All right, seeing none, anybody in the audience object? All right, anybody in the audience support? All right, you got one right here. Gonna make sure we count you. All right, staff recommendations.
All right, the Planning and Development staff recommends approval of the special exception request with the following conditions. Permits are required for the 2 proposed signs. Number 2, development of the property shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forward by the City of Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia at the time of development. And that concludes staff recommendations.
Do you accept those staff recommendations?
I do.
All right, Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to approve this agenda item. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same right. All right, this item has been approved.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to the final one.
All right, SC-25-13, a petition by Garu Naim LLC on behalf of Convenience Realtor LLC requests a special exception per section 21-2C of the comprehensive zoning ordinance to establish a liquor store affecting property containing approximately 1.25 acres located at 2220 Gore Highway. Staff represent.
Amanda Cruz, Planner 1. This special exception involves a 1.25 acre tract situated in the B1 zone at the corner of Milledgeville Road and Gordon Highway. Currently, the site is undeveloped vacant land. The request for special exception is to establish a liquor store adjacent to 3 smaller retail businesses under the current zoning. This subject property is located within the South Richmond character area. The vision for the South Richmond character area is to maintain its predominant rural atmosphere characterized by large tracts of open space, rural residents, some farms and creeks. Additional suburban residential commercial development will be located in areas designated for such uses, and public facilities and services will be expanded as necessary to accommodate the growing population. Liquor stores are not allowed by right in the B1 zone, but may be granted with the approval of a special exception. Per section 21-2C of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, liquor stores are permitted by special exception in the B1 neighborhood business zone if they generally conform to the following criteria. The nature of the surrounding area is not predominantly residential, with only a few commercial uses interspersed. This application is compliant with this provision, where the intersection of Milledgeville Road and Gordon Highway is primarily commercial in nature. The property is at the intersection of 2 arterial streets or within 500 feet of such an intersection. This application is not compliant with this provision. Though the site is positioned at a key intersection, Milledgeville Road is identified as a major collector street. The closest intersection of 2 arterial streets is Barton Chapel Road and Gordon Highway, which is approximately 640 feet away. And lastly, the property is not within 1,000 feet of a public park or recreation area, school, or library. The application is compliant with this provision. The closest school is Barton Chapel Elementary School and is not within 1,000 feet. The closest public park or recreation area is Bayville Park and is also not within 1,000 feet. And lastly, the closest library is Frieden Branch Library and is also not within 1,000 feet. The adjacent zoning to the east and west is B2 General Business. To the north, B2 General Business. To the south is a mix of B2 General Business, agriculture, and light industry. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps firm, the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. According to the Augusta Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located on this property. Public water is present, but sewer is not. Public transit is not available near this parcel. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation State Functional Classification Map of 2017, Gordon Highway is classified as a principal arterial, and Milledgeville Road is classified as a major collector route. According to the preliminary traffic impact worksheet, traffic engineering has determined that a traffic study is not necessary for the proposed development. This special exception is consistent with the 2023 comprehensive plan. And at the time of completion of the report, staff have not received any inquiries with the petition as advertised. We did receive comments from engineering and utilities. Engineering has stated that site plan must be approved. The entrance should be angled off of Milledgeville Road, should be as close to 90 degrees as possible. And utilities has stated that there is a water line on Milledgeville Road. However, there is currently no sewer available at the site. They will need to acquire an easement next door to get to the sewer. And that concludes staff presentation.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? Sir, if you would come forward and give us your name, your address, and any new details on your project.
Good afternoon. My name is Maninder Singh, 2324 Malone Way, Evans, Georgia. And I think that is good addition to that area. So I try to put a liquor store over there.
All right, thank you, sir. Questions from commissioners? All right, seeing none. Anybody in the audience object to this petition? All right, sir. Or ma'am, individuals, would you like to express your objection? All right, it's gonna be both of you guys. Okay, well, collectively, you guys have 10 minutes, so if you could just be aware of that and make your comments brief so we can hear both perspectives. Yes. And make your comments directly to the Planning Commission.
How you doing? My name is Patricia Jeter at 4102 Elders Drive. I won't be long. I just wanted to say that we have enough liquor stores in the area within close proximity to this request for a special exception. We already have a problem with being overrun by liquor stores. There's one giant one on Barton Chapel that's literally, I believe the young lady said maybe 600 feet or something like that from where he's trying to build this liquor store. I'm not sure, I'm not good on directions. But the bottom line is we have one in our neighborhood as well, which is off of Harper Franklin. I'm not opposed to business and industry, but this is not the type of industry that we need to continue to oversaturate Richmond County with. We already have enough alcoholics and people with drug problems and addiction problems. We're trying to bring up Richmond County. I have a problem with the fact that the Patel family only decides to come to Richmond County and they're not building houses, they're not building industry that would increase, that would improve or bring up Richmond County or Southwest Augusta. The only thing, and I come down here quite often, you all see me all the time. The bottom line is, I'm just gonna speak it in English. We don't need no more liquor stores in Richmond County. This is ridiculous, and it's mostly the Patel family that's coming before you all doing this. Nothing against the Patel family, but I do think this is just a bit much, and I'm stop. I'm requesting that you all consider my request, because we're already oversaturated. We don't need, I can understand if the special exception was something that was going to increase our quality of life. This special exception is not going to, so I'm asking that you deny this petition.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jeter. Mr. Wembley, did you want to share your thoughts?
I was listening at the area being described as in it wasn't surrounded by residents, but I think Barton Chapel, which Madrid Road comes right up to that. That's one of the outlets from Barton Chapel Village, comes right to it. Right across Barton Chapel, you got a new apartment complex. Across from that apartment complex is a housing complex that's been there for quite some time. So to say it's not surrounded by residential areas, I think that is very misleading. To say it's not you wouldn't put it in an area that is already depressed is a very misleading. We are being saturated with liquor stores. Is there something about South Augusta that gives the impression that we have to have liquor stores? Why don't you build something that we need? We don't need a whole bunch more gas stations. We don't need a whole bunch more liquor stores. If you want a liquor store, build one next to your own neighborhood, but let us have some moratorium on building liquor stores in South Augusta. It's just too many. We don't need it. We just stopped one on Willis Foreman Road. We didn't need one out there, and we don't need one right there at Barton Chapel, Barton Village. That whole area is in fact a residential area. So now that's misleading to say that it's not surrounded by a residential area. That arterial road and all that good stuff, yeah, I heard that, but it doesn't matter when you're putting an addictive drug in a community, and that is what you're doing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wembley. All right. Anybody support this petition in the audience? Okay. Sir, you heard some of the concerns. You have opportunity to respond if you would like.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm not Patel, that she mentioned it. And I had a liquor store on Harper Franklin Avenue. And, and she's one of my customers too. So just for your knowledge. Thank you.
Okay. Final questions or comments from commissioners? All right, seeing none, let's go to the staff recommendations.
All right, the planning and development staff recommends approval of the special exception request with the following conditions. Number one, shall comply with all applicable regulations set forth in section 21-2C of the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Augusta, Georgia. Number two, the development must comply with all aspects of the Augusta tree ordinance. Number three, the approval of this special exception request does not constitute approval of the conceptual site plan submitted with the special exception application. The proposed development shall obtain site plan approval in compliance with the site plan regulation of Augusta, Georgia prior to construction commencing on the property. Number four, the development of the property shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Richmond County, Georgia, as amended at the time of development. This concludes staff recommendation.
Sir, do you accept those staff recommendations? Okay, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to deny, Mr. Chairman.
I second it.
All right, there is a motion to deny and a proper second. Let's do a roll call, Amber, on the denial.
All right, so we have a motion to deny special exception 2513. Commissioner O'Neill, how do you vote? Deny. Mm-hmm. Commissioner Davis?
Deny.
Commissioner McKnight?
Deny.
Commissioner Laracy? Deny. Commissioner Malice?
Deny.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner Cooks?
Deny.
Commissioner Spencer? Oh,
Deny.
okay. Commissioner Owens?
To approve.
Okay. And Commissioner Clark?
Deny.
Right, so special exception 2513 has been denied.
Okay, so your petition has been denied, but that recommendation will be moved forward to the October 21st full commission. All right, well, that concludes the agenda. Do we have anything from the legal session? All right, can I get a motion to approve the September meeting minutes? Been moving properly seconded to approve the September minutes. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Oh.